Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Tanoi, Mr. Kim, and fellow students. Our team is going to present about learning English in Korea in 4 parts. My name is Yi Jong-bin, and I'm presenting about speaking, using listening, meaning writing, and Chanso about reading. I'm going to talk about speaking firstly. If you have any questions, you can ask me anything after the presentation. Then let me start. Many people from many countries use English as their mother language and second language. Due to this fact, a lot of people study English globally. Koreans do study English as well. It is well known that the feedback of studying English in Korea is considerable. According to Nail newspaper, Pagoda Language Academy did a survey with about English studying. About 1,000 Korean university students answered, and about 73% of the students answered they would study English speaking when they study English. Based on this research, we can see many Koreans consider English speaking very important and study very hard. Then why do people keep having trouble with the speaking and going abroad to study English? My speech consists of 2 parts. The first one is the difference of point of view about English speaking between Koreans and English speaking people. And the second one is what has to be changed to improve English speaking ability in Korea. The other day I watched an interesting documentary named The Mystery of Language Acquisition: How a Child Learns a Language, which was on the air on EBS. I really want to show you this documentary, but as we don't have much time to watch this, so I'll just tell you what it is briefly. Have you ever heard of Ban Ki-moon?
Yes.
Maybe some of you have. He is the Secretary General of the United Nations. This documentary shows a speech by Mr. Ban, and then they interviewed some Koreans and English-speaking people about how they felt about Mr. Ban's English speaking. Firstly, as I told you just before, I'll talk about the difference of point of view about English speaking between Koreans and English-speaking people. In the program, Koreans who were interviewed answered that his English was terrible. Even one of them said that he was very embarrassed by Mr. Ban's pronunciation. Almost all of the Koreans underestimated his English-speaking ability. Then how about English-speaking people? All of them spoke very highly of his English speaking. According to these people, the Secretary General used very advanced and proper words in his speech. English-speaking people didn't consider his pronunciation very much. One of them answered that the most important thing when talking to each other in English is the communicative skills, and the pronunciation is just an additional option. As you can see here, Koreans think that pronunciation is the most important thing in English speaking. This is the problem. This may be the reason why people in Korea keep going abroad to study English. Then what do you think we should do about this situation? One of the possible answers in the second part. Then let's move on to the second part. Secondly, I'm going to talk about what has to be changed to improve English speaking ability in Korea. As you can see from the difference of point of view about English speaking between Koreans and English speaking people in the program, Koreans are more concerned with the pronunciation than the communication. However, communication skills are far more important than pronunciation. How would a man speak a language just with a good pronunciation without any communication? Language itself is for communication. Speaking foreign language is not just for showing off. What we should change here is this thinking about speaking. If we think differently about speaking English, we wouldn't have to go abroad to study English to some extent, just like Mr. Ban did. To sum up, I have told you about learning English speaking in 2 parts. Firstly, the difference of point of view about English speaking between Koreans and English speaking people. Secondly, what has to be changed to improve English speaking ability in Korea. Fluency in a language does not depend on pronunciation. What is important is communicative skills. Based on this change, we may be able to improve our English speaking ability in Korea. Thank you for listening.